By the end of today's video, I know I'm going to convince you to get married only during Libra sun season. And if you're already married, you're going to want to be scheduling a vow renewal between mid-September and mid-October of next year. And here's why. As a relational astrologer, I am always talking to couples and helping them with their relationship dynamic. And that could be people who are brand new, they're just getting into a relationship and they want to understand each other better on an energetic perspective right off the bat, or people who've been together 10, 20, 30, 40 years and they want to dive deeper, or maybe they're going through some challenges. So I work with a wide variety of couples. And whenever I see a couple that's been together for a really long time, so 10 years plus, I always ask them when they got married and or when did they start dating. And I am telling you, I have a theory, and it has been proven to me over and over again, that the couples that get married or start dating, meaning their marriage birth chart or their dating birth chart, the energy of the relationship that they have created together, if it was during Libra sun season, so approximately between September 22nd and October 23rd, that means their relationship or marriage birth chart has a Libra sun sign. And Libra is the zodiac energy of compatibility, of partnership, of connection, of harmony, of us forming a bond with another person. And so if your relationship is birthed with the sun, which highlights, which illuminates, which becomes the core energy of that thing, the relationship, then it is going to be infused with this Venusian energy of beauty and pleasure, romance and harmony. And Libra sun season is such a beautiful sacred time in the astrological year because it marks the halfway point. It happens on the fall equinox. So when we're thinking energetically, when we're thinking in seasons, when we're thinking in rhythms of our life, we are officially halfway through the astrological year. And when we begin the astrological year in March, on the astrological new year in Aries sun season, we're all feeling really energized to focus on ourselves, our goals, our dreams, our desires, what we want to accomplish, putting our own oxygen mask on, being a little selfish, focusing on us being the main character of our lives. But 6 months in, 6 seasons in, we get to Libra sun season. We get to the fall equinox and the vibe shifts. And all of a sudden we're like, okay, I've had a great summer. I've had a lot of fun. I've been doing me, but now I would love to meet someone. I would love to connect deeper. And even in marriages, it's like, okay, what are we doing for the holidays? And we haven't gone on a date in a while. We've been so busy with all the other things going on in our lives, and people just are drawn back together. And time again, it has been proven to me that this is the case for the majority of couples who've been together for a very long time. So if you were married during Libra sun season between September 22nd and October 23rd, put in the comments below what date you got married and how long have you been together. Or did you meet your partner during that season? Have you started dating during that season? Maybe you're not married yet, but you met your partner during that season. Now, it's very interesting when I'm working with couples to help them plan their wedding and pick the optimal date. Now, just so you know, we can do an entire podcast episode just on that. So if you want me to explore that more for you and you're in the wedding planning season or you think you're going to get engaged soon, let me know in the comments. We can make a follow-up video in that specific topic. But what I like to share to people when we are planning the optimal date for their wedding is to try to fit it in Libra sun season. Now, this isn't always possible. So the second thing I notice is that couples may not have the sun in Libra. Maybe they got married before September 22nd, like sometime in August or early September, or maybe they got married end of October or early November. And that's okay because typically you're going to have Mercury or Venus in Libra as well, because those planets work really close to the sun, but not in perfect alignment with the sun all the time. So even when I do meet couples that have been married a really long time, but they were not married during Libra sun season, they typically have some sort of Libra energy in their chart, meaning there were other planets in Libra at the time that they said their vows. And so it's really, really important for me to try to see if we can make that compatibility happen on the date that they're going to get married. So ideally, I would love to make it happen during that season for them, but that's not always possible. So there's other ways that we can work around that energy. Now let's talk about a couple different dynamics and how you can use this Libra season in your favor, whether you're single, you just started dating someone, you just got engaged and you're planning a wedding, or you've already been married for a while and you weren't married during Libra sun season. So let's start with all of my single Astro family members. Libra sun season is the most optimal time for you to get out and meet someone. Because remember, it's soulmate season. It is the season where the sun is going to highlight and illuminate the energy of Libra upon all of us here on Earth. And so what that means is people are more likely to feel the Libra energy. They're going to want to get along. They're going to want to connect. They're going to want to get out there and meet other people and form bonds and come out of their shell. So I know a lot of people, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, they tend to meet their significant other during Libra sun season. They go to a party, they're at a coffee shop, they go on a blind date, they're introduced to someone. It happens so often during Libra sun season. So if you're in your shell, get out during this time of year. And if you missed it this year, make sure you schedule it on your calendar next year if you're still single. Now let's talk about for those of you who just started dating. If you just started dating, maybe you've been dating for a couple months and Libra sun season rolls around, this is the optimal season for you to deepen your connection. Because again, you're willing to kind of give and take, you're willing to peacekeep or negotiate or be a little bit more diplomatic. And so maybe as you're starting to date, there's some decisions you have to make. Like, are you going to move in together? Is one of you going to move to a different state or city? Maybe you don't live in the same location. Maybe there's some sort of compromise you're having to make to continue that relationship. And it's so new. So that relationship requires somebody to give and take in the scales and equal them out. So if you've just started dating, this is a great season to kind of work through some of those things where you have to negotiate. Both parties are going to be, again, more likely with the sun in Libra to find a middle ground, to be open to the perspectives and the opinions of the other person. Now, let's say you just got engaged or you're about to get engaged. You just know it's going to happen very soon and you've got to plan your wedding. And even if you're watching this and it's not Libra sun season, let's say we are in January and we're Capricorn season and you're looking to plan your wedding, let's narrow down the perfect time to try to tap it in to Libra sun season. Now, when I am doing a chart to help you pick the perfect day, of course, we're going to avoid certain things like Mercury retrogrades. We're going to avoid certain harsh aspects like Venus square Uranus, unless you like surprises and spontaneity in your relationships. But remember that your wedding birth chart, the day that you seal the deal and become one unit as a married couple, you are going to birth a new energy. That is going to be the way in which your relationship feels as it continues on. So here's an example. My partner and I, we started dating right before Libra sun season. We actually met on September 18th. So in our relationship chart, we have a Virgo sun and a bunch of other different aspects. And every year on our anniversary, we analyze that chart of our relationship to see what our relationship needs that year to grow, to thrive. I'm going through certain things individually based on my birth chart, and he's going through certain things individually based on his birth chart. But our relationship is a living and breathing energetic component. What the relationship needs to thrive, the way in which we're going to feel connected emotionally is going to change. And every single year, we look at our chart on our anniversary and the upcoming energies in the astrology and how it's going to impact the relationship. So your marriage birth chart is the exact same thing. So when we are dating, we have a certain energy of our relationship, but we know when we get married, our relationship is going to change, right? How we need each other to show up, how we make each other feel safe. When we solidify going from dating to married, we up level and the relationship changes. That is based on the energy, your marriage birth chart, right? And that is going to repeat every single year on your wedding anniversary, your marriage solar return chart based on the current cosmic weather. And so it is going to be very important to be strategic in the way in which you plan your wedding and the day that you choose to birth your new relationship dynamic into, because that is the cookie cutter, right? That is the energetic blueprint as you move forward. And I will have a completely separate video on picking a marriage birth chart so we can talk about that. Or if you want to dive in very specifically for you, then I would definitely recommend doing a one-on-one session. I also have a completely separate video talking about the anniversary chart. So go check that out if you're still dating or you want to use it for your marriage anniversary chart. Now I want to talk to my married couples. If you've been married for quite some time and you've considered doing a vow renewal, maybe it's been 10 years, 20 years, and you are not married during Libra sun season, you're gonna want to schedule it at that time. This is gonna be a perfect rebirth of your relationship. And for those couples that have been struggling, and I see this time and time again as a relational astrologer. Many couples come to me before they get divorced, when they go into therapy and it's not working, or maybe one party comes to me and confesses that they're really struggling in their marriage and they want me to help, give them some insights, help them understand their partner better. So this is what I do. This is my jam. And what I always recommend, and we look at the day that they were married, we look at that birth chart and I'm like, this energy is where you're getting stuck. Having a vow renewal, whether it is this massive ceremony or just the two of you recommitting to your relationship, if we can do it during Libra sun season, it will rebirth the marriage chart. It will be this new entity, this new energetic blueprint that will be infused in the relationship between the two of you. It is something new that is being born. And so that is such a beautiful way to reset or recalibrate your relationships. Now, I know for a lot of people, this seems totally woo-woo. This seems so ridiculous, but I am telling you, it has been proven to me time and time again. I wanted to make this just really quick, really short podcast episode, just really getting this information out there. I could not gatekeep it. And it's so fun every single time I meet a new couple and they tell me that their anniversary is during Libra sun season, because I'm like, yep, check another one for my theory on Libra sun season being soulmate season. So I hope this episode, even though it was short, was informative. Maybe it makes you kind of ponder and think a little bit. Libra sun season really allows us to tap into what makes our life beautiful and pleasurable and enjoyable again. And oftentimes that is relationships. That is why I specialize in relational astrology, because I believe that relationships are the most important things in our lives, yet they are the most challenging things that will ever happen to us. And whether that's the relationship you have with yourself and trying to figure out who you are and what you like and what your needs are so you can communicate it to other people, whether that's the relationship you have in your family dynamics are huge. I love doing all day deep dive intensives with families to help them all get along better and understand their strengths and their weaknesses. And yeah, it's so deep. I could do a whole nother episode on that too. Or the one that you have with your romantic partner. It is so important to understand how the astrology, how the birth charts of relationships play into what we're feeling, what the relationship is needing. And I just really pray and send this to anyone that you think this would help. I pray that this lands in the ears of those who are struggling in their relationships. Because traditional therapy is great and all, but it's not for everyone. And there's a lot of people that have resistance to sitting in a stuffy therapist's office week after week and not feeling understood at the end of the day. Where understanding your birth chart, your relationship chart, your partner's chart can hold the key to bringing more peace and harmony in our lives, because it gives us language to what we're experiencing energetically, what we're feeling inside, so we can move through with more clarity. So I'm honored to guide you on that journey, whatever that might look like, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's in my Astrology for Lovers course, or whether that's here on the podcast. So if you're new, please stick around. You can hit subscribe, follow along the Relational Astrology podcast, because relationships really are my jam. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode like we always do with what's in our orbit, where I share with you what's going on here in the Astro family in the current moments. You can reach out and grab it if you so choose. So first thing to remind you is we have the Astro family hanging out over on Telegram. So if you are looking to learn more about astrology, if you want to stay updated with the current astro weather, if you want to get discounts to my courses or readings, if you want to connect with other like-minded Astro family members, we have the most epic group chat going on. That is over on Telegram. It is a monthly subscription. Cancel whenever you'd like, hang out as long as you would like, and I would love to see you in there. The second thing that's in our orbit right now is we are doing the Cosmic Download of the Month, which is my reading special. I've been doing this since July, and what essentially I'm doing is I am offering one reading theme per month for a special price. So it's 50% off my regular readings, and for the month of October, it is soulmate compatibility sessions or relationship sessions. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is you can pick a person to compare your chart to. So that could be your romantic partner, it could be your child, it could be your roommate if you're moving in with a roommate and you've signed a 1-year lease and you're needing to get along or you're needing to understand each other on a deeper level. Maybe you are a business owner and you have a business partner. Maybe you have employees, like you have an assistant or someone that you want to understand more. You're going to send me your chart and the chart of the other person. I am going to vibe out for 40 minutes, deep diving into both of your charts, helping you understand one another on a better, deeper level. And if you didn't know this about me, when I read astrology charts, I get a lot of intuitive messages, intuitive downloads from your higher self or my higher self or my angels. So you may even get a really special message inside your reading if that comes through. And the third and final thing that is in our orbit right now, as I'm recording this in October of 2025, I am currently working on the 6th edition. This is so wild. The 6th edition, the 2026 version of the Astrology Alchemy Journal. And this is my journal that I put out every single year. That's my astrological guide to help you keep track of what is going on in your life during the different cycles and rhythms of the astrology. Because cycles repeat themselves. And so I give you journal prompts for the sun seasons, the new moons, the full moons, the massive transits, and other big things going on in the astrology throughout the year. So you can take notes, you can take inventory. And when we get to Libra sun season next year, you can go back to your journal. You can go back and see what was going on in your life so you know what to anticipate year after year. And there's other major things going on in the astrology coming up in 2026 that I will also be including in this year's edition. So I'm really excited. If you want more information on that, you can head to the description box below. We're going to make it so much easier this year for you to order a copy. I'm going to actually be putting it on Amazon, which is so wild to me. And we're also going to have a PDF version available. So if you'd like to pay a little less money, you don't need the shipping, you don't need the physical copy, there is going to be an option for you. So thank you, my Astro family, for being here today. I love guiding you through the cosmic weather and your relationships, and I will see you in the next episode.